Hello and welcome. I am so glad you're here. I'm Beth, a creator-based coach with CMH Coaching for Life. I'm here today to help you and those you love create a life you feel grounded and at home in. Think of a life where you feel peace, love for those around you, and in a flow with just enough challenge to keep you happy and creating something wonderful. Sounds like magic, but it's not. You can create that life every single day. You can have a life full of love, excitement, hope, and creation. Our mission at CMH Coaching is to flood the earth with light through compassion, mindfulness, and hope. And I'm going to ask a favor of you. If you like what you see and hear today, think of someone you know that would enjoy and benefit from this message. Our mission is to flood the world with compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Share this with them. But for now, this is time just for you. So settle into whatever you're doing and enjoy this time with the girls, where we create that one awesome, amazing, perfect life every one of us is seeking. You gotta watch your thinking. No, it says we're live streamed.
We're there.
I think so. I'm watching it load.
Okay.
There we go. We're here. Hello, 50/50 girls. We are very glad to see you. Happy Monday. It's a good day. It's been a really good day around here. Fun. No, seriously, I have had the best day. It has been so good. So
I'm glad you have. Poor Aubrey, though.
Aubrey's doing great. She's
good.
Doing, her due date was the 28th of October.
Mm-hmm.
For those of you who haven't followed on the 50/50 Girl Club, I've been down here since the 22nd. This is my little room office behind me at Aubrey's. I've got this beautiful folding card table that I've been working at for the last couple of weeks. It's lovely. And I really don't have my tongue in my cheek. It really has been good. It's been really fun. But we have had on and off contractions. And then last night when everybody had barbecue, we had family over and they brought barbecue. Three or four of us got food poisoning from the barbecue. And one of the group was Aubrey. And here she is 6 days late. Yeah, with food poisoning. And horrendous pain. And so we ended out at the midwife's, making sure everything really was okay until just past midnight. And then we went back this morning to have more tests and stuff done. And they gave her an IV bag and, all of this stuff. But the happy thing is, not to Aubrey's happiness, but to mine, is they realized they had her due date wrong. And she wasn't really due until the 1st, which means she doesn't really have to have her baby until somewhere between the 11th and the 13th. Now, the 11th is my sister's birthday and the 13th is mine. So, I mean, come on.
12th would be perfect.
Wow. Yeah.
I lobbied and she scowled, and I lobbied some more and she scowled, and we had fun. At least I had fun, and she came home and took a nap. But
she's like,
she's doing really good. She's just a trooper. But we have so much learning. There's just, you talk about an opportunity to really practice what you're going to do with your thoughts and what you really believe and how you're going to create your situation. We have walked miles and miles and talked and talked and talked as we walked, because midwife says, go out and walk. And finally, she said to me on Saturday, this is my favorite part of having a baby. It's all the spiritual stuff that comes before the baby,
Oh, yeah.
And so, she's a little uncomfortable, but she's not miserable yet. I have to say yet. You, Jen.
I hate to break this flow, but did you want to record this?
I did. I guess I'll just go back and record it from
Facebook. Okay.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for that. Yeah, I can get it. If I get it on Facebook too, it records as the three of us instead of individuals, which I like.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So we can do that. Well, anyway, we just have had a really good time. It's been lots of fun.
Good.
How about you guys? Come on, fess it up, Jaycine. I saw how you came in.
Oh, yeah. I came in, guys, after just a I get to practice compassion. Yeah, I'm going to practice compassion. I choose to practice compassion.
I choose to create a compassionate experience.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, just so much upheaval in a clinic that I'm working with, and things should be different and could be different. And I'm frustrated. Yeah. Because of
Yeah.
their choices, right? Of
Because
their
it could be
choices.
so much better if they chose
Oh,
differently, huh?
exactly, exactly.
Uh,
And part of it is like, if you just listen to me,
I know how this should go.
man.
Do as I say.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Oh, part of
I did write a forthright email, but it wasn't mean. It was just forthright, right? Here's the
forthright,
facts.
clear,
Yeah,
concise.
clear, concise. This is the follow-up. Here you go.
That's good. Those are the C's, right? You want to be Jen, can you remember all the C's for the centered self?
Yeah, there is curiosity, calm, confident, connected, clarity, creativity, courage, and compassion. And we added one. What did we add?
Centered.
Centered. That's right,
Centered.
centered.
And so it looked like you had half of those. So you're batting 50% on your email.
Right.
Yeah, because I'm sure it was confident, and I'm sure it was clear, and I'm sure it was compassionate.
I put a smiley face at the end.
You know, well, I think one of the most compassionate things that we can do is give people their own agency.
Mhm.
I really do. I like with my kids and having babies, because this is a big deal for me. I studied to be a midwife for a while, and I doula, and I really love everything about childbirth, but it's not about me. And so it is just a really compassionate gift to be able to sit with them and let them have their experience. And that kind of sounds like what you're doing with your chiropractic office, to
Yeah.
sit with them and let them have their experience.
And let them yeah. No, it was actually a really good training. It ended up being a good training just because I was able to show them that, there are times, guys, that there's an order. It's not just, hey, do it, get it all done, it'd be great. But there are certain things that require order, and you've got to do things in a certain order. I say that it makes
like
it
building a block tower, right?
it makes it easier if you do it in a certain order. And if you do it in a certain order, I mean, we can always fix something that's been done, but it's going to require more steps and more frustration and more mistakes. And it would just be really nice to get your foundation set up well at the very beginning, just in like 4 easy steps instead of about, I don't know, 10 after the fact.
Going around in circles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I should do our intro.
Oh,
just because I didn't. And, even though everybody knows us, maybe there's somebody new that's tuning in that needs to know, especially needs to know Jaycine and Jen. So here's our intro now that we'll actually start. Welcome to A Creator-Based Life, the weekly podcast for CMH Coaching. We empower women of faith to create the lives they love, the lives they have always wanted. And I'm here with Jaycine Bonnet, a business coach, a mom, a grandma, and an avid runner who is always learning just like the rest of us. And Jennifer DeRoos, a coach, a can grow anything gardener who I heard planted trees today, and a hypnotherapist. And I'm Beth, a master life coach, an author, a mimsy to a lot of grandchildren, and a mom of 9, and the creator of The Creator-Based Way. Create your one awesome, amazing, perfect life. And I got to tell you, today in Texas, that is exactly what it is. It is just awesome and amazing and perfect. The sun's out. It's 80 degrees. My kids are all healthy. They're all, most of them are happy. This is good. It's a good day. Yeah. And today we're talking about compassion.
Mm.
So anybody have a good definition for compassion? It's our first talk about compassion. I like synonyms for compassion for me personally. One of my favorite is friendly. I love the thought that compassion is friendly and compassion is open
Mhm.
and compassion is kind.
I always thought it's funny because I always thought like compassion was just nurturing, right? And I guess
Yeah.
nurturing does encompass all of those, I guess, synonyms as well, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But when
Um,
I thought of compassion, that's what I always thought of was nurturing. Yeah.
the one that I thought of this morning, I was listening to somebody. I listened to a lot of somebody's, but it came up about Jesus Christ and how
Mhm.
Jesus Christ was an incredible mentor or model, I mean, for curiosity. And I thought of Jen right away. So
Mm.
I would wonder, is compassion then somewhat curious? And I think we would be able to say when somebody is in need of love or support of some kind and we want to reach out compassionately, I think there's curiosity in there as well in how we can support and how we can help. What do you think, Jen?
Oh, absolutely. Because a lot of times somebody's, we rarely notice good behavior. We always notice bad behavior.
Mhm.
And
We're
usually,
programmed that way.
yeah, and usually behind like unwanted or bad behavior, negative behavior is a missing need. The person's something in that person is not a need is not being met. So usually when I see that, I'm curious. I'm like, what is causing them to not, to be this way? What is
Yeah.
causing them to act
What's
this
going
way? And
on
so
here?
I can see how curiosity could lead you to a compassionate view of somebody and
Yeah.
an outcome. I
Yeah.
heard I heard once, and I don't know where this came from, but within the word compassion is the word compass. And so
Uh-huh.
Mm.
I kind of think it's like a directed love. It's a direction, a point to where you can focus your love in on. So I thought that was kind of a cool
Well, and
little.
the second word in compassion is passion.
Mhm.
So it's compass, directed love with the energy to make it happen, the passion to go through. Because I think also for me, compassion is an action word
Mhm.
in a lot of
Yeah.
senses. Yeah. It's a reaching out, a merciful thing. What do you think, Jaycine?
I think it's really important and valuable that we're talking about this because in the business world and I know in other areas, compassion is kind of frowned upon because it's almost like they feel like it's a an excuse or a
Oh,
pass, a free pass, right? You're giving somebody a free pass and they don't have to pay the price for their actions or oh, if I'm going to be compassionate with myself when I think there's just not a I think there needs to be a greater understanding of what compassion truly is and how it does help us progress and become even better. It's not necessarily a free pass. There's still accountability
Yeah.
with compassion.
I think Simon Sinek does a great job in teaching leaders. That's his whole platform. Is there
Mhm.
can be compassion, there can be all that understanding that in the business world and leadership. And so I love all of his stuff when it comes down to that.
does he have any specific suggestions in being
Um,
compassionate in the business world?
well, one of his books is Leaders Eat Last.
Oh,
Mhm.
well, yep, that
Yeah.
makes sense. A servant leader is a really important
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and his other ones, Together is Better. I mean, I shared that one with you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah, we did
It
that
just
for you
it's
week. That was so fun.
and coming, I spent some years in the corporate world and I hated it. And it was a lot of all that like dog eat dog, me over you, no excuses. There can't be any understanding. It's like you follow the rules, one strike, you're out. It was really just an experience that I just did not want to be in and did not like. And I'm not saying that every corporate experience and every business is that way, but I was just like, do you have to be like this horrible person and just run roughshod over everybody and be? I mean, I saw so many like backhanded stuff happening for people to get
Yeah.
ahead. And I was
Mhm.
just like, oh, I just don't like this.
So what'd you learn about about the other way from Simon Sinek?
That it's a paradigm shift for a lot of people.
Uh-huh.
And that he does say that you can, these businesses can be successful, but it's like they're a long-term success over some of this other short-term get ahead stuff.
Yeah. Right. Well, dirty little secret, but I always thought compassion was wimpy.
See?
That it was weakness. I always thought, it was just letting somebody off the hook, or just saying, here, just take mine because I know you can't do it. And so it's a real change for me to understand. That's why I love Friendly, because that's something that I can recognize and apply daily, that there is a loving friendship there in compassion.
I was thinking about just an instance when we were raising our kids, and Mark came from a home that was very military based. I mean, they lived on the base, the military base, and dad was 100% gung-ho military. Mom worked on the base. I mean, that's how they ran their household. And there wasn't a lot of compassion. And so when we started raising our kids, we had to learn to come
because we model where we come from.
Yeah. And there were times I tuned everything out. That was my thing, is you just tune it out because I don't want to hear it, so I could survive and maintain. And he'd be like, didn't you just hear what they just said to you? Didn't you hear their tone? And so there was a lot of, got to hold them accountable. And we came across a different style of parenting, and it was holding the kids accountable, but also doing it in a loving way. And right now I am spacing the name, and I know it's right on the tip of my tongue.
Was it Parenting with Love and Logic?
Yes, Love and Logic.
That's what we did. We did Parenting with Love and Logic when our kids were growing up.
And I remember a time that Tyler, he was supposed to clean. So, the dishes don't stay in the sink. They go in the dishwasher. But our dishwasher back then was not super helpful. It sanitized the dishes. It didn't really wash them.
Yeah, you had to wash them first.
Yes. So you gotta, scrape the egg off, get it in there, rinse it, make sure it's in there. And he was given several opportunities. We were going to go see a movie that day, and he was given several opportunities to get the dishes done. And so about 10 minutes before we were going to leave, I said, hey, is everybody ready? Go in, go to the bathroom, get your snacks, whatever. Right. And Tyler I heard him run into the kitchen and just like throw the dishes in the dishwasher. Right. and so I sat there, Mark and I sat there, and we're like, okay, what are we going to do?
Yeah.
Super hard, because it was hard. It was his choice. I know he didn't rinse the dishes. And so I went out to the kitchen and opened the dishwasher, and it's time to go. Like, we had to leave. Movies don't wait, right? And I looked at Tyler and I said, this just makes me so sad. And it did. This makes me so sad. And I am so sorry that you chose not to do the dishes right, because you chose not to go to the movies now. And that makes me so sad. Yeah. And I wish you would have made a different choice, Yeah. But that was accountability with compassion, right?
Yeah.
That was one of those mom moments. I was like, yes.
Good job, Mom.
Right. Yeah. And I remember those because they were few and far between. However, that was just one that it was like, wow, we put this love and logic to the test, and it worked. And he wasn't angry with us. And he wasn't, I think I still have a note that he wrote and left on my pillow that night.
Because he felt bad to make you sad.
Yeah, he felt bad to make me sad. He felt bad that he missed out time with the family. And, it was just,
The thing that I love, that I really like about that Love and Logic series, is the first word is love. It's not a logic and love series. It's a love and logic series. The compassion comes first. Yeah. And that you illustrated that so perfectly in the way you worked with the dishwasher and with your son. Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. Anybody, have you guys ever had a situation like that where somebody did that for you, where they were really compassionate towards you? And what was that like? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I've had people who have been so kind towards me throughout my life. Nobody that's just really been awful, you know. A couple times people have said harsh things, but I've been really blessed to have a lot of really compassionate people in my life.
It was interesting as Jaycine was expressing, and that
Yeah.
story about that. In my mind came a lot of the pivotal moments in my childhood when I didn't show up or I didn't do things, and my parents, how they came at me, and such a night and day difference. And I'm sitting here thinking, I would have loved it if my parents would have used the logic, like explain to me
the follow through,
why they want me to do something instead of just do it because I said so, because I'm the authority figure, which makes me go, just like I'm not going to do it, and then the punishment coming because of that, and just like so I'm just thinking, what a wonderful way to teach your children, because some of the after things that happen, I'm just like, it just snowballed into just chaos and at times violence. And I'm like, it would have been, I was a smart kid in the sense of like, just explain it to me.
Right. Well, and one of the things I loved, as long as talk about love and logic, was the phrase, would you like to hear what other kids have done?
Yeah.
So you leave with the logic, you lead with the love, and you have the definite boundary and the parameter, and you explain what you need to explain. And then you ask, how do you want to do this? How do you want to accomplish it? And if they can't, at least at that moment after you've waited, would you like to hear what other kids have done? Let me give you some ideas. Yeah. And it puts it back in their court.
And I'm just thinking about it, like, maybe some of that also was a developmental thing on my part, when maybe I just needed you to walk me through it a few times.
Yeah.
What if you're just with me?
Yep. And that's right.
Like that. And so I just kind of like, oh my gosh, what a gold book. What a good book to have. Follow through on it.
All kinds of, they had a lot of books in that series. I watched it backfire as many times as I watched it succeed. Right. So because
do tell.
Well, the logic part. Okay. So it was almost like so here's the rules. I will take the dishwasher and the movies follow the dishwasher. And then I watched it like the reminder, the threatening reminder, well, we're going to the movies in 20 minutes. If it's not done, you can't go. And then when it happened that it wasn't done, it was almost vindictive. Well, there you go. You can't go. And when the kids start screaming and crying, the mom walks out the door, because that's logical. That's when I really watched it backfire. The love is the really important part. That's the component that makes it work. Yeah. And that's like you were saying, in exploring, or run through it with me a few times. That's the love, right? Yeah. That's the compassion part of it.
Instead of just punishment. Maybe just walk me through it. Yeah. And I'm just sitting here just going, wow.
Walk me through it.
Yeah.
It was really good. It really helped us as parents. And you're right, Jaycine, the successes were not as frequent as we would have liked, but we learned a lot from it. And I like to think my kids are better parents because of it. Yeah. Because of the way we practiced with them. They practice better with their kids.
Right? That's what it is. Yes. It is a practice.
I know. I observe people being parents, and I just am like, how can you do that 24/7?
Oh,
not lose your mind.
Right, you lose your mind. And I watch every single day the battle for nap time. Oh gosh, go back to your room, and then the battle for bedtime. Go back to your room. Go back to your room. 20 minutes later, go back to your mother. How is your head not turning inside out? I know. But you cultivate that patience. It makes us such good people, and they're really good parents. They're just so good.
I just sit back and I'm all like amazed. I'm like,
yeah.
How do you keep these little bodies, alive and yourself sane or partially sane, and not commit murder.
Yeah,
And
well, just kudos to all the parents who are listening,
Yes,
and all the
yes.
parents who have ever, who have been parents.
It's a good day if I get my cats and my husband and I fed. It's like, I just am like, yeah. So like, hats off to all you moms and dads out there that are doing it.
Oh man.
Good job. Good job.
I think that it just gives us such opportunity to practice compassion, and not just with friends, right? And we're there day in and day out. And if you apply the love and logic to that as well, start with love and compassion. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's all about creating, which is why we call this a creator-based life, because you're creating your life in your family, and you're creating the theme of your family. And if compassion is one of your family themes, it's a really great life. Let's talk just for a couple minutes about creating and maybe some creator words, because I read just the best blog. It was David Emerald's wife that wrote it. And it was a blog on creator words and how a creator uses verbiage. Now, my guess is, Jaycine, you do this a lot with the chiropractic practice, right? They're almost like your children.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So can you tell us just a little bit about how you use your words to kind of create that?
It's interesting because I'm thinking about, we have something called the 7 forbidden phrases.
Ooh. I want to hear all about the 7 forbidden phrases.
7 forbidden phrases. So, and it goes right along with what I'm sure Miss Emerald was talking about. Let me, so one of I have to find it so I get them all right.
You find them.
Yeah.
What was presented in her writing was, this is what you say, and this is the creator way you could say it, so that you could move out of whether it was persecutor or whether it was victim, and into a creator role, back into your empowered space or your compassionate, loving, centered space, right?
Yeah.
Okay, let's hear them.
Yeah. All right. So the way I teach the 7 forbidden phrases is, it's all about, when we're communicating with patients, when we're communicating with each other, we want it to be positive and not have a negative undertone, right? So that people can have a positive experience.
Oh, so, like with kids too, kids and family, this could work really well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, I don't know, that's the forbidden phrase. I don't know. I can't, or even I'm sorry, or unfortunately, which is interesting. No. The third one is no, or I'm sorry, or unfortunately. And let's talk about those first 3. So I don't know. Instead of saying, I don't know, when you have somebody on the phone, if you don't know the answer, it's, hey, that's a really great question. Let me check and find out. Yeah. I want to make sure I get you the right answer. So,
well, and how cool would that be? Like in a child setting? Why?
Yeah. I don't know. That's a really good question.
That's a really great question. My granddaughter May is 4.5, and her brother is 3. And so why is literally in a conversation of 50 words, it's going to be said 35 times.
Right.
It's just it is. It's why. And so after the first couple of days of being here and trying to answer the whys, I talked to Aubrey and what do you do with this? And she said, I say, why do you think? Which is just like, that's a really great question. And after I did it with May for like the 3rd or 4th time, she just looked at me and stopped talking. Because it was a game to string me along and keep me going. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Yeah.
What a really great, but wouldn't that be fun when she said why? If I had said, that's a really great question.
Yeah.
It would have changed the time.
Yeah. Why do you think?
Why do you ask? Let me check on that for you. I'll talk to Mom.
Yeah, it's such a great question. Yeah. And how would it be like for anybody to respond instead of, I don't know.
What do you think?
That's a really great question.
Well, yeah, I love how like, well, what do you think? Because it's engaging the possibility of a conversation, a connection, and
yes, and possibility is an amazing creative force. Yes,
absolutely, creator-based way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then the I can't, of course, it's what I can do. Or oftentimes we say, you know, if we have a patient on the phone, or, oh, I'm sorry, I can't get you in today. Unfortunately, the doctor's not here, or unfortunately, all of those
we
have
don't use those words.
negative, right? They're negative. And instead, if you just say, hey, what I can do is this for you. What I can do.
Oh boy, I'm going to try that too with the toddlers, because I want chocolate. Well, what I can do is offer you some grapes.
Yeah.
I want chocolate. Well, what I can do is I could go play in the backyard with you. It would be done.
Yeah.
That's genius.
Yeah, right. It's so
that's genius.
Right.
Because you could do it like, well, hey, what I can do.
What I can do, right.
They're like, oh, now I'm excited. And it's like that like distraction, you know?
Isn't that brilliant?
It works with everybody. It's brilliant.
Same thing with, instead of saying no, because how often do we want to hear no? And oftentimes with patients, when you say no 3 times, like if you say, oh, well, what time would you like to come in? Oh, how about 10:30? No, no, that's not going to work for us. It's like what I can do. What can you do?
Well, I could do 12:30, or I could do 10:45.
Here's your options. You choose from these. Yeah. And same thing like with our kids, instead of saying no, hey, what I can do, like you were saying with the chocolate.
Yeah, but pretty sure this would work with anybody. I mean, anybody in your household or in your circle of influence.
Right.
Because it's all really positive. It's just reframing so that it's about creating something instead of about closing something down.
Absolutely. And like Jen was saying, like the next one is you have to.
Oh, I don't like that one.
Or the doctor wants you to, or dad wants you to, or whatever, right? Instead of saying that, you change the words. And it's important for you to do this because blah.
Well, and remember, you know, we did the words workshop on Saturday, and Jen talks about the power of words. Immediately, you have to. Shuts everything down for me.
Right? Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
You know, well, also, I don't know if this works with you and if you've tried this, but it would be really helpful for us if you had this filled out before you came in. Because a lot of people are like, oh, I'll help. You know, if it's
I want to help.
Yeah. Oh, yes, I'll help. You know, and I don't know if that would be a good thing to use, or if it's like a no-go.
I think once they're established that they want to help, but when they're a new patient,
they want to be taken care of.
Right? Yeah. But yeah, serious. Yes. I love to ask patients for help. Yeah, because everybody wants to help.
Yeah.
Most people want to help.
Most people do.
Do we have any more of the 7, or is that all the 7?
Don't forget. I mean, there's some others. Don't forget. And instead of saying don't forget, it's please remember.
Please remember. And I can tell you that what you tell your little kids, whatever the last thing is, don't go in the street. What they hear, and it's scientifically shown, what they hear is go in the street.
Yep.
So instead you say, stay on the sidewalk.
Yep.
Stay on the grass, but you don't say, don't go in the street. And so it makes sense. If we're like that as children, we're going to be like that as adults.
Well,
remember,
in hypnotherapy, when we're in the subconscious state, they tell us don't use the negatives. You can't, don't use the don't do this, don't do that, because the subconscious only hears do this. And so
that makes a lot of sense.
Completely undo everything that you've done with him by saying, well, don't say bad words to yourself. And then also they hear say bad words to yourself. And so you just put that in their mind. So you can't use the negative.
Right.
It's super interesting that the science behind it, like what you're saying, Beth, is like, I mean, even in everyday language, if you can just reframe it to a positive action.
Yeah. To what you will do.
A forward movement compared to a don't. Yeah.
Right. And I really wish I would have known that when I was raising my kids, because, with Brandon, he was supposed to take out the garbage every Monday. I mean, we lived in the house for 21 years. Every Monday you take out the garbage. And he just time and time again, he would forget. But
Yeah.
I would always say, don't forget to take out the garbage, right? That was my thing. And so I planted those seeds and, didn't allow him to be creative because I planted the seeds with my
Live
work.
and learn, right? You plant great
Right.
seeds now. Yeah.
Better. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Offer a little self-compassion, right?
Yes.
Yes. One of my favorite things about being compassionate is to speak kindly to ourselves. I mean, there are things I would never, ever say to you guys that are said in my head. And those are the days when that's when I need to catch the thoughts and reframe them to something positive, because I want to create something positive in my life. Yeah.
It's also a proven fact, and we learned this in the readings that we had to do for hypnotherapy, that saying something 3 times, the brain takes it as a truth, whether or not it's true or not. So if you're telling yourself over and over and over every day that you're an idiot, you're an idiot, you're an idiot, your brain's gonna be like, okay, I'm an idiot.
It'll believe you.
It'll believe you.
But there's so much power because then you say it 3 times in a compassionate sense. Yeah. I love you. Good morning, Jennifer. I love you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It works.
Yeah. So,
or it's
all about just making that neural pathway just deeper and deeper and deeper when you repeat it over and over again. So yeah, watch your thoughts, watch what you're telling yourself.
Well, and I love just telling myself, you're so good at this.
Yeah.
It just feels good. And you get better and better at whatever you're doing when you just say, I'm so good at this. And as I live with these littles, they say that just so naturally. Right? Watch me. I'm so good at this.
Yes. But if you catch yourself saying, because we do have our habits, we're trying to break in our thought habits.
Yes, we do. We have lots of things in there. If
you catch yourself saying, I'm not good at this, then just put that word, that small 3-letter word on the end, and it will change the whole thing of it. I'm not good at this yet. Yes. And it changes the whole feeling and the whole power. You are now moving forward. Yeah, there's hope in that. So these are little tips and tricks. So until you can put it into that, reframe it into that positive statement of, I'm so good at this.
I'm so good at this. Yeah. If that doesn't feel believable, that is a beautiful step. That yet word is magical. I've been so I'm practicing. That's the other one I really like. I'm practicing with my compassion. I'm practicing with patience. I'm practicing with staying cheerful. I'm practicing. Yeah. I'm practicing with my practice, right?
Or when I've completely fallen flat on my face, I'm like, okay, I'm learning.
I'm
learning. Yeah.
Learning. Yeah.
Announcement.
And mistakes are expected. Yep. Mistakes are expected. They're part of learning.
Mistakes were made.
Yep. Mistakes were made. That's okay. That's amazing.
I had a full year that my mantra was just in training, like I'm trying to run a marathon and stuff. And it was brutal, but I just was like, train ugly. It doesn't matter. Just train and train.
I love that. Train ugly. It doesn't matter. Just do it. Well, because mistakes, and they can be pretty ugly, right?
Yeah, just train ugly.
I'm going to remember that one. I like that. That ties right into compassion, because if you're telling yourself train ugly, you're giving yourself that everything that you need.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's beautiful. I love that. All right. This was amazing. For an unscripted podcast, we were led. Tender mercies is a beautiful thing. Very compassionate, and I feel better. Tomorrow we're doing Coaching Clear. Hopefully Aubrey will not be having a baby between 1:30 and 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. I doubt it will happen. The midwife thinks Wednesday. I'm still lobbying for my birthday, but we'll see what happens with that. So we have Coaching Clear, and then Wednesday we have book club. And oh my gosh, I have to tell you, I had time Sunday afternoon to read the book for book club, and I was so impressed. You want to talk about it?
We're just we're up to the first half of the book, and I love it. This is compassion, right?
It's not your
Your
fault.
fault.
Just the title is so compassionate. It's not your fault.
There
Yes,
it
thank
is.
you.
So beautiful. Yeah. And just talking about like some of the things Jen was saying, how things that happen in our childhood sometimes shape us, but we have the choice to change it, right? We can be creators, which I love. Yeah. So it's
So
very
good.
cool.
So, Jaycine, what chapter are we reading up to on Wednesday?
Such a great question, Jen.
Sorry to put you on the spot, but I want to make sure I'm
What
prepared.
a great question, Jen.
Such a great question. I'm so glad you asked. Let me be sure I get the right answer for you.
I'm sorry to put you on the spot, Jaycine.
Well, what I love
No,
about
it's
the
good.
book, what I was reading, what I loved was the clarity and the way he lays it out. It's so easy to understand and it's so hopeful because the steps that he outlines, you're like, oh, well, I could do that. And as you're reading through, it's a great book. I was very impressed.
We're going to be through chapter 9, Jen, on Wednesday. Yep.
So through chapter 9 for Wednesday, and that's at what time Wednesday?
At 1:30 Central Time.
1:30 Central Time.
Are we not doing book club the week of Thanksgiving or something?
We are, but well, I don't know if we will or not. A lot of
We'll
times
have to talk about that. Probably not, though, because a lot of people are gone the day before Thanksgiving or they're baking pies. But book club only runs 30 minutes. And so you could put your pie in, go to book club and come back.
Truth.
Because that will then give us 3 more. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So Wednesday, book club through chapter 9. It's Not Your Fault. Fantastic book. And then Thursday, coach training. And we are winding up. We only have 6 more coach training classes and the year of learning will end, which is amazing to me. And we'll go into internships for these new coaches. And then in June, we're starting a new round of coach training. So anybody hanging around who really wants to know about creator-based coaching, come look because we'll start new coach training June of 2024. So in a while.
It's amazing.
Then, yeah, it is so amazing. It is really, truly life-changing. And then we have a jumpstart coming up the first weekend of December. Should we talk about that?
Sure, so I can prepare.
It's tapping. It's tapping to tame holiday stress and anxiety.
Emotional freedom technique. Yes.
Yes, yes. And boy, if ever we need some good tricks and tips for working with stress and anxiety, it is during the holidays because things get so busy and we need to make our choices. And we need to make our choices from those 5 C's place again. It was calm, centered, creative, compassionate.
The 5 C's or the 7?
I don't know. Just tell me all those C's.
Curiosity, connected, centered, courage, creativity, clarity.
It's just a whole bunch of C's.
Confidence. Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you come to the jumpstart, you'll learn maybe a little more about the C's. I'll practice them, promise. And you'll learn more how to use the tools that we have. There's going to be a bunch of tools to work with the stress and the anxiety that may come up during the holidays. It parallels our free Confident Connections course that we offer through Facebook. And so it kind of helps you, especially if you feel uncomfortable in group settings or you're not real keen on family gatherings. There's lots of opportunities there to make confident connections in that course.
I have to tell you, I call it tapping to calm your crazy because it
I love that. Tapping to calm your crazy.
Calm your crazy. Because of the intense family situations that I find myself in,
and so many of us do. Yeah.
And sometimes it's the only thing I can do when I have my time alone to release all of the anxiety and the trauma and everything is to tap it out. And it helps you center and ground yourself. So
yeah, so that's I think it's the first Saturday in December, which I believe is the 2nd. I might be wrong on the date, but I think that's what it is.
Yep, you're right.
So yeah, it's on Eventbrite. If you just look for an online class and type in tapping, it'll come up for you and you can sign up on Eventbrite. And if you're a member of the 50/50 Girl Club, you'll see it there as well too. So that's coming up and that will be lots of fun and great tools. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so.
I think we're good.
Well done.
Here's to a compassionate week for everybody, including and especially yourself. Hey, yeah, if I do this. Yesterday I did this, hearts came out. Yep, there it is.
Hearts. I love it.
You do. You're so wow.
It's the magic of being a mimsy. I just want you to know you have to be a mimsy to do that.
I think you have to update. You have to do the latest download for it. Oh, sorry.
That's so
It's mimsy magic.
It's magic. Beth is magic. That's so cool.
Have a great week, you guys. I'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye. No, oh my gosh. That is so much. Yeah, we haven't figured out why it started yet. But first, I need to figure out how to make
Into live Facebook.
stop doing live. There it is. Bye, 50/50. We love you.
If I wake up with a bad attitude, I fill my mind with gratitude. I give thanks for everything, with every little thought I think. I can choose to be happy, choose to be free, moment by moment. It's all up to me, 'cause what I think about, I bring about. That's the way it is, and there is no doubt. Day by day, I pave the way with every little thought I think.
Thanks for joining us today in A Creator-Based Life. I hope you felt that compassion, mindfulness, and hope you came seeking today. You can find more of it at CMHCoaching.com or on Linktree/CMHCoaching. Of course, any social media outlet, we're there too. Because you felt the benefit and light in this message, please invite those you care deeply about to join us. Help us to create a ripple effect across the globe of compassion, mindfulness, and hope. Then we can create a creator-based life together. Have a great week, y'all. We'll talk to you soon.
Moment by moment, it's all up to me, 'cause what I think